Hello and welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish.
So, the Housewives?
Yeah, Real Housewives. Most of this, what I wrote down was Gina related.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of got, and I was confused. Remember last time I told you that there was like a 7-minute preview video that I had? Yeah. So then I was like, I forgot what the preview was. And then I started watching this past week's episode and I'm like, wait a second, didn't I already watch this? And then I remembered no, it was just the really long preview. But I think it's pretty clear that Gina is not over her divorce.
Oh no. And she's definitely taking it out on this new guy.
Yeah. And this is why I just feel like people don't need to rush into relationships after they go through divorces, especially, or even breakups in general when you're not even married.
Right.
It's just, and it sounds like she had a lot of trauma with him cheating and the domestic abuse. Why jump into something? I mean, Travis really seems like a great guy, really supportive, but she just is really broken up.
I know, right?
So it was just kind of sad to watch that, I thought. And it's clearly it's just a topic of conversation with her and Travis a lot, it seemed.
I know. And it does seem like I guess, I don't know. It's really hard to get over a breakup and stuff anyway. Yeah. And then to still be processing it completely moved on is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when we're skipping ahead a little bit, which we always do this stuff out of order, but when she was we went to a wedding and it was in a church and it made me emotional because I was thinking about my wedding. I was kind of okay, but you were there with Travis.
Right.
You guys have supposedly moved on. I can understand being a little sentimental and being sad that okay, I thought that was my forever and it wasn't. But now you have hopefully a new forever. Right. It just seems a little awkward. Going back to them still being at the ranch, I thought when they were when they split up and they were doing the rafting or the fly fishing and they could not stop commenting on what was his name, Kevin, being how old are you? I feel that is the sign of you're getting old. I know. When you're untrusting of youth.
They're 23. What?
Does this guy know what he's doing? It's just funny. And then I was dying, literally laughing out loud when they all got to the fly fishing place and Heather is laughing about something and then Shannon pulls out a can of sunscreen and starts spraying herself down.
I know that was funny. I'm that's not water. You're literally dousing your eyeballs with sunscreen.
I know. She literally stepped away from the ladies and just covered herself. She is just such comic relief.
I know. She's nuts. I know. Love it, though.
That was...
And then when they're on the raft and
the Kevin was overexposed.
He has these little shorts on and everything, and you can tell they're a loose fitted ones.
I loved how Taylor was just Tamara. Tamara. Trying to get her attention to look back. Oh my God, that was funny. I would have lost it. I mean, those portions were genuinely so funny.
I know they were funny. They actually were. When I was watching it with my son and he was so he was oh, I want to go on there. Oh. He's do the waves get really high? And then it's well, yeah, they can, but I've never done it. And you're not doing it.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, not with Kevin. Right. I thought it was funny though too, just them losing their minds whitewater rafting. They were just exactly what you would expect. And they were wait, I hear it. I hear it.
Like dun 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 dun. And then they were in some pretty intense.
They were.
They're just like all their wavy blonde hair and extensions.
Taylor's like, paddle. It was like the Ross pivot moment. That's what it made me think of. And the front is like completely up in the air.
And then that Kevin's just back there like no big deal.
That was really funny. That was pretty much that. Oh, and then when they finally got back to dinner at the end of the night, I felt like it suddenly was like a hate on Heather party.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. They're like, let's do the bits and peaks of our day.
And then they just hated her.
I know. They're like, well, I had a problem with you. And and then when she's like, well, I mean, it wasn't your guys' fault. I just felt left out.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Why are you ruining this?
Which, you know what? I even wrote that in my notes from like 1 or 2 episodes ago when they first got there, and Shannon and Tamra. Like,
oh, yeah. They're up to their old shenanigans.
Yeah, they were on the stairs messing around, and Heather's literally in the kitchen
like,
by herself.
Hello. I know.
Like,
and
of course you'd feel left out.
I know. And then Shannon's like, well, you know, it took me and Tamra a long time to get to this point. It's like you guys started filming together and then started talking again.
Right.
Like,
Literally.
obviously Heather's gonna feel left out.
And you're allowed to have more friends. Like,
right.
you could still have included her. I feel like they do that stuff on purpose.
I know.
You know? But I thought it was weird. And then even, you know, I know Heather can be like hoity-toity and whatever. But even when she was just trying to say, like, I don't typically do this type of manual labor and work.
Right.
And like, I appreciate that people do this.
Right.
And they were like, really, Heather? It's like, you guys don't do this kind of work either. Right. Get out of here.
I know. And it does seem like in the previews for the next episode, they're going to keep like ragging on Heather about that stuff. So I'm interested to see what's like.
You know what? Even from the beginning when Heather first came on the show, I just did not feel like she blended with the ladies.
No, I think she should have been on Beverly Hills.
I thought that exact same thing. I mean, her like demeanor, everything about her is so much more Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, like I said, she can be kind of prissy, but she is definitely more classy than the other ladies.
I mean, she is rich.
Like, I know.
She is like beyond wealthy.
Right. She's one of the richest housewives. And I even looked that up, like in all of the franchise.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, I just don't feel like she fits in fully. And I think that there might be a little resentment with the other ladies because
like she
of that.
Genuinely is a real housewife of Orange County.
So I don't know. It was just like, let's all hop on the we hate Heather train. And like that it's just makes someone feel so bad. Like, why ostracize?
Right.
But I feel like they've kind of planted the seed of like her, you know, in a couple episodes ago, she and Terry were talking about wanting to move. And I feel like she might be
transitioning.
Yeah, especially since Taylor has bopped over. I would like to see that, honestly. I think she would fit in way better with Kyle and everybody else. And then also, then it kind of just went to... Oh, the other thing I was going to say, Heather was trying to like be kind of emotional and sharing her like pit of the day. And then Shannon's was, well, mine was, there was a alleged animal in her room at night. Really? Like,
and then her and Tamra conveniently got to sleep in the same room.
Right. Whatever. The rest was pretty much about Gina, I guess, what I wrote down that was like worth noting. She just makes mountains out of molehills is what I wrote. She, again, was just, it was like she first was mad with like the whole Tamra and Taylor situation. And then she was mad at Jen with like the infidelity. And now she's just jumping on Heather. Like, it seems like she's trying so hard to be like an actual main character.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's working for her.
No.
Her talking to like Travis, I already said, he seems really nice, but it was almost painful to watch. I don't know what you thought about this. Like, he clearly was trying to de-escalate her the whole time, and she was just like stonewall not having it.
I know, and he probably doesn't want to have that conversation on camera anyway, because it's so personal.
Right. But he was being so nice, like, and she was just like, "Oh, this is just such a mess," and he's like, "But it's okay." Like, and also, like, somebody else's love is not going to heal you.
Right.
You know, like, so that's kind of goes off what I was saying of jumping into another relationship. Like, they can't fix you or heal you after your heartbreak. Like, you need to do that yourself, and it doesn't really seem like she's taken the time to do that. Okay, what do you think about Ryan and Jen? Like, do you believe Ryan?
No.
I don't either.
But I don't know. I mean, I do feel bad for Jen, though. Like, I really think she wants this relationship to work out, but I 100% think that he said stuff and did all the stuff. And,
okay, the Snapchat thing with his overexposed photo. How do you... Okay.
He sent it to...
We use Snapchat all the time to talk to each other. I have never once sent anything to my entire contact list.
No. And I feel like... I don't know. It just did not make any sense.
No.
I'm like, okay. And then at first it was like, well... He meant to send it to me, but then it went to one person. And then when he said it, it was like, no, it went to my whole contact list. I mean, come on.
And then when she had originally said it, she's like, well, all that he has on there are like me and his kids.
Yeah, I know. It kind of, I mean, she was downplaying it
and
big
also,
time.
That went to your kids?
You know,
like, did they open
no, because it just went to that one girl.
Right.
So,
like, if it really did go to your young children and they opened that, like, I think that's a bigger conversation.
I know. And she's all like, oh no, like, it's totally normal.
Like, no, he definitely
They didn't have the same story.
No, they didn't at all.
But, and I believe that he said that thing about Tamara too. It's like... Although I don't agree with Tamara, like, saying that.
No, how she, like,
went about it was, like, the deflecting thing. But, yeah, I believe that he's...
I just don't
He kind of reminds me of Slade.
Yes.
It kind of like this, like, I feel like he's gotten around the friend group, even though he hasn't been on camera that we've seen, but it's like...
But clearly he's gotten around the friend group. And Slade was always a little slippery.
Oh, yeah, he was very slippery.
And he could, like, schmooze you out of believing.
He literally dated or slept with 3 housewives.
Was it a serious relationship with 2? Crazy.
And on the show for those 2 as well. But anyway, that's just what it kind of reminds me of.
I don't believe him.
No, but I do kind of like Jen. I mean, this is my first experience with her, but I think she seems, I don't know, sweet.
Yeah, I did. And I think she wants to believe that he is.
I know. And I think she probably thinks he's like this hot guy. I don't know if she's insecure. She shouldn't be.
Well, I will say, she is beautiful and seems very kind, but did you see, like, the flashback photos of her with her ex-husband?
I don't remember.
I think it was, like, they showed it the previous episode, and you can tell, like, she has gotten a lot of work done, which obviously you can tell by just looking at her right now. But it's like, okay, so you clearly have had a glow up, and maybe you were insecure before, and now this is playing into who you're dating. I don't know, not to speculate, but the only other thing I wrote down was the flashback of Tamara and Vicky and Brooks. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, the good old days.
When the evil eye, they brought up the evil eye. Oh my God.
Like, I mean, oh my gosh. Those seasons just with Brooks was so
scandalous and awful and beautiful.
I know. It was so just pure gold television. Yes. Pure gold. I just feel like they're trying to just force that kind of drama right now.
I know. Like, Tamara's out for blood this season, which I guess that's why we want her here.
She needs a big comeback, yeah. I guess that's kind of it for... Did you have anything else? I don't really.
No, just like the preview for next week. Looks like there's going to be a big fight between Tamara and Jen. And then she like throws a napkin at her. Like, what in the world? A cloth napkin. Because they're at a fancy restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things are definitely going to go down for sure. It's going to get juicy, which I'd like to see more of that. So, but I also like the genuinely funny parts, so I hope that does stay sprinkled in there because it's funny when these like weird ladies all get together. It is funny.
It is.
So something not about a TV show. Recently, I've been thinking about moving, but I don't really know. Like, it's so hard.
I know.
Because, like, I was thinking of moving more towards your area.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, my gosh.
Because it does make sense.
Get up there.
I know.
There's freaking apartments right behind me. I don't know how nice they are, but
I know. Like,
there's, like, some nicer ones, like, further back. I don't know how expensive they are.
But it's seriously... And,
I know.
Like, the place that I have now, I'm not doing an apartment tour anytime soon, so hopefully no one's looking for that. But I just like a place that has, like, more character to it versus a place that's like a newly renovated cookie cutter complex, you know, and that's a lot of the places just anywhere right now, really. And then you're spending like an absurd amount of money, and I know a lot of it is for the area and for all these amenities, but I'm like, I don't need a tennis court and a pool, and, you know, and it's just like, it's really like hard. Cool,
I know, because like when you see, I mean, I know it's like sometimes in New York or like a big city, and you see somebody's apartment, you're like, that is so cool. Like, they've got, like, brick and everything. It's like, I don't know. I definitely can feel you on that.
I did find one. I don't think that anything is available in it right now, but it's, like, right downtown, and it's, like, a house. But there's like 4 units in there, I believe. And it's really cute.
My dad, this was like forever ago, but he was in an apartment like that.
Oh,
and
really?
I remember it was like cool. It had like built-in bookshelves and just was like a cool place.
So I did email them, but I'm not sure if it fully went through because I never got like a confirmation. But I was just like, hey, you know, I'm thinking of moving to the area. I don't know if you have anything available, but like I'd love to just learn more and like kind of be on your radar. Right. But I also have like some extended family up there, and I almost want to reach out to them and just be like, if you know anybody who has, because I'm not the type of person that wants to be in one of those big complexes. I just don't like that, you know?
I know. Like, I mean, I think it works for like a certain point in someone's life, but no, that'd be fun.
Yeah. So,
well, if I hear anything.
Yeah, if you hear anything. It's just so hard because I'm like, I don't know. I think moving up there would be better because obviously I'm like closer to you. I do a bunch of stuff up in that area anyway. Right. But then it would be more of an opportunity for me to like actually build more of a social life, which I currently do not have. But it's just like so hard like to make a change. And like I definitely am settled in my place right now, and I hate the thought of moving because I just don't like
I know, it's such a pain.
I know.
No, I could definitely. No, it would be nice like if you were up there.
I know,
obviously. It'd be more convenient for me. You can be I was just talking to my husband, we don't have like a teenager babysitter to like have the evenings, you know, to go do something, but you could be my teenager babysitter. But the problem is then I won't have anyone to go do anything with.
Then what would you?
Now what? I still need the teenager.
I know. Well, it is
such a pain in the butt to move. It's
I know.
So annoying.
I know. I just hate it. And I literally, like, the room that we're in right now, like, I just got this, like, set all up and finished. And then, because I'm in a 2-bedroom right now, and if I got a 2-bedroom up there, like, it would be, like, triple the price almost than what I pay now. So it's just, I think I will reach out to that family member and just see, like, if you know anything, because I just would rather do that than like just that big place that's like super overpriced. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated.
I know. And it's like, obviously there isn't like a rush or anything.
Yeah, no, there really isn't. It's just like something I literally thought of.
I know. Sometimes you just get like a hair up your butt. And
I
you're
know.
Like,
I mean, I just am like itching. I'm like, I want to leave right now.
Let's do it.
So yeah, but it would be more convenient all around, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Britney Spears' new book is coming out in October.
Yes, which I can't wait.
I think I told you. I think I might just, it's not coming up on our library thing. I think I'm just going to like see if we can just pre-order the audiobook. I don't know how much it's got to be cheaper than if you rent. I'll have to look it up on like Barnes and Noble or something, because I feel like we have to have that.
I know, we've got to read that. I might even have to read a physical book.
I know, right? Then it'll take us an entire 2 months to get through it.
Finally get it. But we'll have time if we own it.
That's true.
But we do need to get that out. I know. I hope. I'm not sure what it's gonna say.
I know.
Like, I don't know what I'm hoping for. It's either going to be so dark and like, because like I'm not going to be able to handle it.
I know. Like so sad. Or we're going to get super
like
surface
nothing.
level.
Yeah. Which I'm worried that they have sucked the life out of her.
Me too. And how long has she been writing this? You know,
I know. I feel like it hasn't been that long, because remember she was like in those fights with like her sister and her mom on the Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And then it was all of a sudden she started posting about writing a book, and I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but
I know. I need to know more. I also thought it was odd how she called it The Woman in Me, which is I can't remember if it's like just a song or if it's also the album of Shania Twain.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird too.
Like, well, why?
Like literally it could have been anything, like Stronger Than Yesterday.
Yeah.
Or Piece of Me.
Yeah.
Or Pieces of Me.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was an odd.
Or it could have been Lucky, ?
Right. Isn't she lucky?
Yeah. Like it literally could have been so many things, but she
Oops,
chose...
I did it again. I don't know.
That's going to be the second one. She chose
Which makes me think it might be different than we're expecting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Choice of whatever. Also, I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it. There's something else I was going to say, but I don't remember.
About the book?
Yeah.
I thought the picture on the cover was a little interesting.
Yeah, I seen I can't even remember who on Instagram was like, I love that she chose this photo from this photo shoot. But I would
from what, like freaking 2005?
Yeah, that's what I thought was weird. And I don't know if that's like a symbolism for like that was the last photo shoot and she felt herself.
Maybe.
Or like before everything went crazy. I don't know. There's a lot of
unanswered questions. And since it doesn't come out till October, is it not fully done yet?
Yeah, and this is just like
the preview.
A rough draft. Yeah. It'll be a totally different looking book cover and when it
comes out. They're like, Brittany, we didn't have the editors look over this. We have a lot of
Can't
changes.
be promoting that. That'll be interesting.
Oh God. Oh, Brittany.
You know, did you watch Zane's?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think?
Well, I do like him. You know, I liked his mellow vibe. Some of the questions I thought that she was asking him were a little odd.
I find that, I don't know, I feel like her interviews never, I mean, obviously she's good with people and making them feel comfortable, but I do feel like her questions are way too pre-approved.
Yeah.
Like nothing seems like spontaneous conversation or anything, but yeah, I thought it was really surface level and kind of
right. Well, and even like some of the things that maybe were a little bit more spontaneous, like what did she say? Like, what's your least favorite thing about yourself?
right.
I mean, I find that like such a challenging question.
Yes.
Like if you're in like in a job interview and they're like, "What's your strongest asset?" You're like, "Oh my God, I have no idea. I can't evaluate myself right now." And he was like, wow, I don't know. Let me think about it." Like,
I know, and I think too he because obviously he always seems like the brooding, serious guy, and he's like, I'm not that. So it's like all these questions she was asking him didn't make sense for this person that he's saying he's not.
And it was almost like she already had the questions, and not even that she like pre-approved them with him, but it was almost like she had them set herself. And once he was like, "No, I'm actually not really this broody, mysterious, serious guy," she was like, "Well, those were all my questions, so
now what?" I know, I did feel that way too. I mean, there were some good parts and stuff to it, but I feel like it was kind of like him, and we just don't hear from him.
Yeah. What did you think about the whole scandal with Yolanda?
Well, I had to relook up what happened.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I couldn't remember exactly what happened, and then I forgot that it was like alleged that he shoved her.
Yeah, they like got in some type of argument.
He called her a Dutch. Wait, did he call her a Dutch slut or something? Yeah.
And was Gigi there? Do you remember?
No.
Okay, that's
she
what
wasn't
I thought.
there, and he was like on the phone with her or something as the fight was happening.
But it was at like their house.
Yeah, which I don't know. And then he was just kind of like, well. And then she was like, well, I have to support women. And
I did like that she asked that question because
I know,
that's what everybody
that's
wanted to know about.
The juice. I was actually surprised that question was asked.
And he really did answer it. I mean, obviously he can't like go through and give every single detail. I don't think he wants to either, because just protecting the situation. But I think that it really did speak volumes that he has 50% custody.
Right. And she actually, I like that she brought that up. It's like, well, clearly you must be semi-okay if you have 50-50. So.
And I like how he said, like, you know, the people that were involved know the truth. The people that were there know what happened. I felt that whole situation when it came out did not sit right with me.
No, and I feel like that's when they broke up, wasn't it? Or the second time, I guess. So it's like, I don't know. The story was just kind of like what was going on, that he felt like he had to like protect his daughter from the situation.
And you know, just from watching Housewives, Yolanda is a little, like, I did really like her, but she is very like her way or nothing, really, you know, or her opinion or nothing. So I could feel like she might be somebody that would step on some toes or make comment. You know, I could see that.
And there could have been like tension from before, and then everything just came to a head.
Right.
In that moment. Gigi not there, being there. And being able to separate it. Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of issues.
And also, like, why would you not believe your mom?
Right.
You know, I feel like in that situation, she was put in a really uncomfortable.
I agree. And I don't know then, maybe it could even been Zayn been like, fine, then we're done.
Right.
If you're going to always take her side or something.
Right, who knows? But it did seem like something had been brewing for a while, and it just came to a head. But it was interesting. I thought he spoke pretty eloquently about it.
I know, I thought he did too, and I think it's hilarious that he just like lives in Pennsylvania.
I know, like, so.
It's like, are we going to go look for him?
I know, literally. I thought about that. He's not that far from us.
Go to that one restaurant they were talking about.
Yeah, like, I think I could definitely make him fall in love with me.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, I'll commute.
Right.
I'll live on a farm with all his animals.
Maybe you'd get a farm around here. I mean,
yeah. What's the difference between here and Pennsylvania?
Exactly.
Pretty much nothing.
I did end up looking up his little audition, and
you did?
It's funny.
I guess I wasn't like a diehard 1D fan.
No.
So I wasn't super invested.
Into like the lore until like probably more recent years, like with the Harry Styles.
Yeah, with the Harry Styles. I wasn't until like when they became more men in front of our eyes, and I'm like, okay, I'm like a closeted fan.
I know.
And then when I was like on an internship and these two girls like loved him, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just say I know all the lyrics to these songs.
No, like I love them too.
I'm not scared anymore.
No, and I do like I was like a Zayn girl, but I wasn't
I liked
big person
right.
on them.
And I did enjoy all of their solo work. I
did too. I loved his stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about Pillow Talk, that being his first one. That was a great...
I loved that song you did with Taylor Swift. Remember when we were like so disappointed with the music video?
Oh, yeah.
We're like, why aren't I
forgot about that.
And we're like, okay, like I know she's
with
her best friend, or that Gigi is like a good friend of Taylor's, but I want to see them making out.
I know, seriously. They could have at least faked it.
I know, or like a little bit more.
I know, it was very
he had good music. He has a beautiful voice.
I know, he really does. I think it's so funny because his actual voice with his accent is like pretty trash.
I know, it's so intense.
He has the voice of an angel.
I know, like
when he sings.
I know, it's interesting how like, because just from, you know, their like auditions and stuff, how Simon and them like really believed in these people.
I know.
And what they ended up becoming. It's like, wow, because their auditions were not impressive.
I know, like that really is a talent to be able to
just really
read
see
that.
and like believe it. And they all their voices got so good.
I know. I think they really did have successful solo careers. I mean, I don't really know so much about like Louis.
Yeah, I feel like his was probably least, but like Niall,
he was the weakest link, honestly.
But like Niall, he had some good stuff.
Yeah, I think he recently even released something that was pretty good. Obviously, Harry is the main.
I know, we can't.
But Zayn, I mean, he was like a powerhouse because he left first, so everybody was like so into his solo stuff. I'm excited to hear what he has coming because it has been a while since we've heard from him.
I know, and he's like, it's different. I'm not gonna make fun of Saxon, but it's different than what they're expecting. And it was crazy too that he was like in her childhood house.
I know,
like that's wild. I feel like if I was her, like I would not be able to believe some of the guests that she gets to sit across from. And she obviously has like those like reality people that aren't as impressive. But
I don't think I'd even want those people. I'd be like, A-list only, please.
If I'm getting Zayn, a One Direction person, he never is on any. But
I know.
It seems like he's probably going to be doing some publicity lately, so. Well, everything goes back to Vanderpump. So here we are again.
Every single episode.
So back when I was a Sandoval supporter, there was this music group that Tom was in with this other guy called Charles McMansion. And I feel like they only had one song, but I really liked it. It was like Touch in Public. And they like filmed a video on the show and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and then we never heard anything about it. And I don't know if like I wasn't on social media right at that point.
Right.
But the other guy had passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And he actually like unalived himself by jumping off like a freeway, like onto a busy freeway, like really tragic. So
when did that happen?
Years ago.
Oh, okay.
Like that's why the band was
God, that is terrible.
I was like, what? Like I was blown away. I didn't like check on the year stuff, but I feel like I'm sure Tom probably posted about it, but it was never addressed on the show and like that part of his music thing too.
Wow.
So that could have been just like a really traumatizing thing he didn't ever want to talk about again or what. But I was like, what? Like I just figured they just broke up and like Tom was over it, but it was
Holy cow.
I know, I was blown away.
How do they not like allude to that on the show?
I know, like
at the time.
Exactly, like I'm just never going to address my music because he never did music ever again until now.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, or like publicly, I guess. I mean, he had that trumpet or whatever.
Well,
But
that doesn't even count.
it just blew my mind. I was like, wait,
Wow.
what? Because I liked that song.
That's tragic.
Mm-hmm.
And just really shocking.
It was shocking. And then the way he, like, did it was horrifying. I was like, oh, that was not what I was expecting to read.
Oh, my God.
So that's what happened to Charles McMansion.
Well, as horrible as that is, it does give us a good segue into the mental health topic that we wanted to focus on today.
Yes.
I mean, I think a lot of it kind of inspired us because of like the Jonah Hill, Sarah Brady thing, and we have a little bit more to talk about on that. I work within the mental health field, so I don't know, from a professional standpoint, I always think it's really important, like when things like that happen, or even like hearing a news story like what you just said, it's like, I don't know those people, so like it's not my place to ever like diagnose anything or like think that they have something going on. Like, I don't know, you know, I'm not their therapist. I'm not involved with them in that way. So I just think when I see a lot of people online, especially now on TikTok, I just don't think that's really a professional thing to do, to like comment on all this celebrity stuff.
I know. I know, like giving their opinion. Well, even with the Tom Sandoval thing, obviously there's issue going on there. But I mean, even that is like a backstory piece to maybe leading up to the way Sandoval is now.
Right. And we do, I mean, with this Sandoval thing, you know, there's definitely a lot of signs that point to like narcissism. And we know this more because there has been such a history that we can see. And like we said last time, the backstory from other cast members and friends. But like still, none of us actually know him. So I just think it's so important, like when people are online and they're like, yeah, I'm a psychologist, yeah, I'm a licensed therapist,
or like when they diagnose like the body language thing, like, and it's like, yeah, there is stuff to that, but
like you can't just say, and then some people take that as Bible, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, or then they're so trying to diagnose themselves. It's like, no,
there, it does in like this weird way feel like mental health and labels for it are very like trendy right now, and I just feel like
it's weird.
It is
because obviously it is so important to acknowledge that
and like
kind of
normalize
stuff.
it,
and especially in the wake of COVID, like it really did come to the forefront. But I agree, it's definitely a buzzword.
It is,
and people all want to become therapists
too. I know, it's kind of like, I went to therapy once so now I can diagnose everyone.
I literally wrote that in my notes. But like, speaking particularly about the Jonah Hill, Sarah Brady thing, we kind of talked about it last week, and I don't even remember what day it was this past week where I had looked and I saw that she had posted like another like 55 posts, and these were interesting because it did show more of like Jonah in a positive light, I thought, because this clearly was like after their relationship was over, and she's like, or he said like, hey, I'm seeing somebody else. She got upset about that, and then the Daily Mail posted something with him like kissing his new girl, and she was like, can you tell him it's not me, and yada 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 yada, and it just like spiraled from there. But I just think that to me, reading those texts was like a testament that clearly he did do some sort of work, like post relationship.
And as bad as it sounds, I felt like obviously the old texts from their relationship were really, you know, unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
But I did feel like he was trying to be delicate with what he was saying later on.
I agree.
Like, I really felt like he was trying to be like, I understand why you're saying that. I get why you're saying that. I respect you as a person. I respect this. And I don't know why she was like continuously.
That's what I don't understand either. Like we said last week, like what are you gaining from this?
Right.
Like I don't see in any realm like where this is beneficial for you. Like and especially like it would be one thing if she literally dropped this bomb and then walked away and did not say anything else about it and whatever. But it's just the fact that she like keeps coming back and keeps putting out more stuff and more stuff. Like to me, that's more concerning. Like,
right.
Why do you keep doing this? Like, have you not really worked through this? Do you think this is going to help you work through it? Personally, I disagree. And like we said before, like, why do we need to know this?
Right. I know I was started telling you the other day, I was in a relationship that there was a lot of parallels to the Jonah Hill. Luckily, it was a short-lived relationship or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did at the end when I was like, whoa. You know, when you can just finally have like a breather and be like, that was so weird. It was like, of course I wanted to scream it from the rooftops. Like, this guy is psycho.
Yeah.
Like, that was not healthy, but I never did.
Right.
And I was telling you too, like, even when people would ask me about it, I would be like, we just didn't have personalities that mixed well. We just were not a good match. And I would just never do it. And even now, like, because I still see this person, it's like, I do still feel like, not really in anger or anything, but I do feel like a disgust towards that person. And I know that's on a way smaller scale than she is. So I get like, you have to see this person be successful and be moved on. And so like, I get her frustrations, but I guess if I was in the similar situation too, and I still choose not to like bash this person, and I guess I kind of am now.
Yeah, but I mean, still...
like, right. It's like, I just don't get the point, because at the end of the day, I know the type of person they are.
Right. And I think
that is not someone I want to be around.
Right. It would be different if like, I mean, not that I would ever like choose to date the same person that you did.
Right.
Or like, but if it was me or someone that was like, say in our circle or someone you worked with, and they're like, hey, I know that you dated this guy for a little bit. Like he asked me out. Like, what do you think about that? And then you were like, well, you can do what you want, but this is my, like, I think that's totally different. Right. There's no need, to our knowledge, Jonah Hill isn't a murderer. Right. He didn't like horribly rape anyone. Like it just isn't a crime. You know what I mean?
To
like
be a crappy boyfriend.
Right. To be controlling. And I do, that definitely is like manipulation. And I'm not saying that it's like anything that you want in a relationship. Right. But at the same time, to me, it just isn't something that I think warrants like airing all this out.
And we do now with all this being said, there obviously have been like allegations out, new ones. Yeah. So if we don't know for sure if that's true, I mean, I think and that was the only thing his like attorney or something commented on. He's not responded to the Sarah Brady stuff.
That other, I don't even know what that girl from
Alexa Nichols
from
Zoe
101. And she apparently had accused somebody else of something.
Oh yeah, she went, not to digress, but she went in on Justin Long. And I was
but I mean previously too, and that was found to be untrue. And it's frustrating, like, not to totally like go off of what we were originally talking about.
I feel like we have to like acknowledge it, I guess.
But it's just like, this goes back to what we've said previously, when like women come out and say things that are true about their experience with a man or anyone who has like abused them or harmed them in a physical way, and then it turns out to not be true. Like it's not okay to do that. And it just felt like, if she really is like a bandwagoner, where like and I don't know, I haven't like dug deep into her, but if it is really true that like she's come out and made false allegations with like somebody else in the past, like why?
I know it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess I believe her, but at the same time, I don't know.
I don't really think it was relevant, though, either.
No, it wasn't. I think that's the thing, too. It's like, I don't know. It just kind of like...
It like, just was
what do you
like,
say?
I don't know.
It's like, but okay, so there are allegations against him, but as far as we know, Sarah Brady didn't have.
No, hers was just
it was
more
just like
of
mental
like
manipulation, abuse.
Yeah.
The thing is, I do, again, obviously there's been allegations against him now, but we do know that Jonah Hill has like bad mental health as well.
For sure.
And is very insecure about his weight. And I like, even a old interview like popped up and the guy's like, oh, what's it like to be the fat person or something? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, why are you asking me this? Like, come on. So to like, somebody has bad mental health and then you like put them in this new situation of this like exposing.
I know. And I think, her experience is definitely her experience. Mm-hmm. And I believe that it impacted her in a deep way. I don't know if this way of dealing with it is the most positive and productive way. I don't see how it gives you healing. I don't see how it's helpful for him and the relationship that he's in now. And like we kind of said before we started recording, she was like, well, I waited because, I wanted her to have the baby. As if having a newborn isn't super stressful. Right. Like don't, and also don't act like, you did him a favor. You know, like.
I know. And it's like, I understand her frustration.
I do too.
Yeah. Especially like going through a similar situation, but I'm so glad I handled it the way that I handled it, and also, a lot of people are trying to say that like Jonah Hill is like using this like therapy language against her, but how do we know that his therapist is not manipulating him?
Right. I know we don't. And I saw actually something I thought was weird was that she had posted some Reddit threads, which I think it's odd that like, so you're digging into Reddit and like actively looking out what people are saying. That to me too is it leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth. But the one thing that someone had said was like, I wonder what his therapist thinks about this now. First of all, it isn't a therapist's role to have every single part of a story. Like a therapist is there for their client, whether it's like individual or couple, whatever it is, family. They're not going to know every single solitary thing. And honestly, it would be wrong for them to even like take in information about their client that they found out in the media and bring it into their sessions. Like even with someone who's not a celebrity, like if a therapist goes out and looks up their client on Facebook and finds all these things about them and then comes into sessions with that knowledge, that's unethical. Like we're not supposed to do that. Like that isn't something that you're taught. That's a no. It's in our code of conduct. So it's just like, it's the same thing. Like this therapist, even if they do hear about this, they shouldn't bring that with them into the sessions.
And this therapist, if this is all the same situation, but he made like a whole documentary with his therapist.
Right.
So I don't know if this is the same
guy,
thing.
we don't know.
Right. And it's like, okay, so now this guy is making money from Jonah Hill.
Yeah. It seems very like
lines are
blurred and crossed. I know. Again, we don't know all the ins and outs of that. But yeah, I agree. It's just, we don't know what the therapist is saying. And I think
maybe he was the one literally telling him what to say in like those newer text messages.
Right. We literally don't know. And I think it can be challenging. Like if you are in any profession and you have a client who's a celebrity, like if you're a fan of them, you have to really watch yourself too. And we don't know in this situation, like clearly they have a good relationship if they were working together. Right. Like, was he trying to get more out of it? Was he, we don't know, like, so I don't know. I just don't like all this self-diagnosing. I don't like just airing out so much laundry that I don't even think we need to be a part of it at all. I just don't like that. And like I said before, all the random like therapists and psychologists jumping on the bandwagon.
I know, and it's like, I get, okay, they're trying to make money on TikTok or whatever and give their opinion, but it's like,
you don't have an opinion to give on this. Like, it's just silly.
You're as much qualified as I am. You know what
I
mean?
Like, bottom line, I just feel like I believe, like I said, that she went through a relationship that was not for her. It was damaging 100%. Her feelings are valid on this.
Right.
But I also think like his are too. Like, we have only heard one side of the story. We don't know. Like, right. And again, we don't know both of these people. It's been a while. There could be a lot of growth and change. I just think it's really easy for people to jump to conclusions and make rash judgments about people. We talked about that in our cancel culture episode. Right. One thing you brought up to me too was that Demi Burnett from Bachelor, where she apparently was diagnosed with like autism later in life, which obviously that's not normal, like fully in the mental health thing. But the thing that got me when we were looking through her TikTok was like she literally pulled out the DSM-5, which if people don't know what that is, that's basically like the big book of diagnoses with mental health and stuff. And she's like, I think everyone should have one of these. You can look up and basically self-diagnose. No, let's not do that.
Right. And don't give that advice to other people, especially like, what's the main, demographic of TikTok? Young kids. Yeah. Like, you can't be telling them to self-diagnose themselves when you're a changing person whose mind is still developing, unless you're going literally like to a professional.
Right. I know. I think that is just so damaging. And I mean, not that she has like the biggest following in the entire world, but she has like a lot of followers on her social media.
Right. And people are like engaging in this, whatever she's talking about.
And it's just, I mean, she threw out a lot of different things. I can't even remember some of the stuff that but she's like, people like this is more common and if you have this, like, I bet that you have this. Like, I think it's really irresponsible.
It is.
And it annoys me.
It does.
The other one that we have talked a lot about is Nick Viall. And I feel a little hypocritical because I think I even mentioned on here before that I do enjoy his podcast.
No, I think he has good guests. I mean, it's a podcast you can enjoy.
Right. I will say, like, it is very hit or miss, though. Like,
yeah, it depends on, like, your niche of
right. And sometimes I'm like, not listening to that one. Or I'll be like, oh, that's a good guest. I want to listen. But he has said on his podcast that he wants to become a therapist, which, anyone can forge their own path and do whatever they want. But I just feel that with Nick, he has this little advice hour section, or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, giving advice is not mean you're going to be a good therapist.
I know. And he did say that he is planning to. Yeah. Going to school now.
I don't know if he is now.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's planning to become a therapist because he's so good at giving advice.
But it's just like, that's literally not what being a therapist is. You're not giving people advice.
No, and like giving people, it's like if you want to give relationship advice because you've been in a lot of relationships,
that's one thing.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, whatever, but you're not gonna be able to deal with somebody who then, I don't know, has a severe mental health issue.
No, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's like you can want to talk to people about like their relationships, but what about somebody who's like severely depressed? That's a totally different thing that you're gonna have to deal with. Yeah, Nick. It's not gonna be the fun
or it's like
advice.
You might be able to give someone advice about a certain situation, right? But when it becomes like an actual pattern, right, and they're coming to you with the same, say, relationship issues time and time again, like sometimes he can be so blunt about stuff.
It's like, it's not always that black and white.
Yeah, and it's like, he thinks that he can just read into everybody's life, and
I'll be like, listen, that guy does not like you.
Right.
If he wanted to be with you, and it's like, okay, that might be true, but it's like, this person's like, oh.
Right, I know. But
You
that's
feel how
literally
devastated
just
they
like,
are.
that's like those advice columns. What was that one?
Ask Abby.
Yeah, like
I
that's
loved
what
reading
that
that.
is. I know, I did too. That's what that is. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with those. But like it kind of frustrates me. Like I feel like he's the guy that's like, well, I've been to therapy for a year, so I am qualified. And even so many times, like he will just completely go over what anyone else on his show is saying and just focus on what he has to say, and that is it. Nothing else. And like, you can't do, even when he has like his people on that are asking for advice, it's like sometimes he'll just like shut them down.
I know. Or like if he has a celebrity guest, they're like, yeah, be involved in this. And then you just see the guest like sitting there in complete silence.
Unable to get a word in.
I know. Or they'll like try to be like, ask more questions. And then now Nick has gone on this 20-minute thing. And you forget that the other person's on the line. And you just want to like yourself be like, are you still there? And it's like he doesn't even ask if they're still there. He's just giving all his opinions.
I know. I think that like, just because we have these platforms, it doesn't mean that we should all just be dishing out and saying that we're all mental health professionals.
I know. And I mean, it's fun to like give your opinion and stuff, but I'm going to be like, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on
And I
anything.
wish that he would do that more.
I know. Just be like, this is what I would do in this situation.
Yeah. Like, you have your own free will and you know more about yourself and this other person than I do.
Yourself,
right. Yeah.
If it were me.
Or just saying like, I had a similar experience and this is what I went through. No, he's so black and white and so cut and dry. It's almost off-putting sometimes.
It is. It's like, well, you know what? I can see this other point of view.
I know. The last thing that I'll say just about this mental health topic is just like with everybody sharing stuff online about their mental health journeys, I think it's really important for them to also recognize like everybody's mental health journey is individual. Like what works for me might not work for you.
Right.
So I think it's really challenging when people are out there and they'll be like,
this is what you have to do.
Right. I was depressed and I did this. It's like that might not be something that works for everybody else. And then if somebody is actually struggling and they see that and they try those things and it doesn't work, it can be more discouraging for them. So I just would say to people too, like if you are sharing some of your mental health journey online, first of all, good for you for
being open and comfortable.
Right, with doing that, but also recognize that your journey is very individual and make sure that you're saying like the caveat, like, this is my journey and it might be different from yours and that's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think another like really shocking thing about like so many people being so open about their mental health journeys is that we did not have that at all.
Yeah, we really didn't.
And it really is so shocking that I almost sometimes will find myself not believing that person.
I know.
And like, I hate that I do that, but I'm like, how can you literally just sit here and get on TikTok and just like, and I know we have such a different relationship with social media now, but I'm like, how can they just like it? Like, even now I still can't hardly talk.
I know it's hard. Like, it really is.
I know. And it's like crazy.
I know. So, yeah.
I know.
Good talk. I guess to wrap things up for today, we have some exciting news. The podcast was selected to be a brand ambassador for a brand of edible cookie dough. And I mean, you can make it into normal cookies by baking them too, but it's called dough. It's spelled DEUX. And yeah, we're really excited to have this partnership. And next week, we're going to be doing a little taste test of a flavor.
So we will let you know how good they are.
Yeah, and we have a promo code,
yes,
which we'll share, but we'll just say it on here as well. It is ESWB Pod, and you'll get 10% off at checkout. So if you're interested, we'll make sure we add the links in our episode descriptions. And yeah, definitely check them out. We're really excited to be partnering with Doe. And we keep forgetting to, we have the video on Spotify.
But it's also on YouTube.
Yeah, we finally...
So if you want to check that out.
Finally got that going.
All the times we talked about it, they are up.
It's there.
It's a couple videos.
Yeah, if you are more of a YouTube person, you can check us out there. We said Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else. And don't forget, next week we'll be doing Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights.
Yep, and it's so far...
You like it?
I think I do. I do enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a different type of conversation versus our other ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.